Hello everyone, this is Reza Chaudhary. Today I'm going to talk about qualitative research on educational technology, philosophies, methods and challenges. This article is written by Hang Lu in November 15, 2011. So this is the citation if anyone has any interest. These are the items I'm going to talk about. What is the educational technology research? What is the difference between qualitative and quantitative research? Potential of qualitative inquiry or research to promote learning and teaching. Different ontological and epistemological assumptions behind qualitative research. 3 prevalent qualitative research approaches: ethnography, case study, and design-based research. So what is educational technology research? It refers to the study of facilitating learning and improving performance by creating, using, and managing appropriate technological processes and resources. Here, process refers to a series of activities that lead to a specified result, and resources often refer to the high-tech tools such as digital media, computer software, or learning systems that are designed to used for educational purpose. Technology uses in classroom. According to US Department of Education, in fall 2008, 97% had one or more instructional computers located in classrooms, and 58% school had laptops on cards. Computers are playing a more and more important roles in educational instruction. Technological devices other than computers are also widely used for instructions, like DLP, LDC, project conference board, classroom response systems, Web 2.0, etc. So what are the expectations as the new technologies are coming and evolving and coming with new and upgraded functionalities? This is the expectation that that should bring also huge improvement in learning and instructional achievement, which is really not happening. According to the National Center for Educational Statistics in 2010, the average reading and mathematics score for American 70-year-olds in 2008 were not significantly different from the scores in the early 1970s. So what is going wrong here? Or we are going to question the nature of the research we are doing in the educational technology. According to one of the past president of the American Educational Research Association, Robert Abel, it is not the educational technology is not governed by any natural laws. It is not in need of research to find out how it works. It is in need of creative invention to make it work better. Ross, Morrison, and Lauder argued that relevant and quality research on educational technology must do more than simply presenting the empirical findings on how well a technology application worked, but should also be read why it worked. So to understand the educational technology research, we need to know the 4 major philosophical assumptions: objectivism and realism, idealism and rationalism, relativism and pragmatism. Objectivism and realism view the world as real, and such reality exists in independence of any human conceptions or understanding. According to the ontological view for objectivism, it further specifies the nature of such existence in terms of properties and relations between its entities. Objectivists view learning as creation of a correct representation that mirrors the external world in human mind, and measuring the effectiveness of learning is done by observing the change of students' behavior through some kind of recalling the facts, giving the right answer, or getting correct certain score. So idealism and rationalism does not view the world as real, rather reality as mental representation which cannot be separated from the mind. Ontological view is mind shapes the world as we perceive it, and the ideas are the only things which can be directly known or for certain. Rationalists view emphasizing the power of reasoning over sensing when understanding the world, as the criterion of the truth is not sensory but intellectual and deductive. Measuring the effectiveness of learning is done by observing the change of students' way of thinking instead of examining from the change of students' behavior. Relativism opposes the notion of absolute truth or reality and consider truth and reality as socially, culturally, and experientially constructed, local and specific to the observer and the context. Ontological view is that meaning is constructed from experiential or physical events within the relationship between them and believes that meaning cannot exist independently without the events. Relativism view emphasizes on learners' experience and voice to allow learners to construct their own reality regarding the use of technology in learning. Measuring of the effectiveness of learning is done by observing the learners' behaviors and opinions to identify newly constructed knowledge within the learners. Pragmatism rejects the notion of absolute dualism such as objectivism versus subjectivism or rationalism versus empirism. Pragmatism views truth as contemporary, ever-changing, and a matter of degree. Ontological view is that truth is contemporary. Solutions are derived from moderate, pragmatic, and practical approaches to resolve existing problems. These solutions are temporary and not failure-proof. Pragmatism view emphasizes that knowledge is essentially a plan of action and processes practical ends to be attained. Measuring the effectiveness of learning by observing the learner's ability to devise a plan of action to resolve a given problem. So what are the ontological and epistemological differences between qualitative and quantitative research? Ontological differences. Quantitative research are conducted under the assumption of objectivity, while qualitative research are operated under the assumption that reality is socially constructed. Epistemological differences. Quantitative research is confirmatory and deductive in nature, whereas qualitative research is generally exploratory and inductive in nature. So qualitative methods for educational technology research, this is existing for quite some time and it is getting more and more acceptance. We are going to talk about three primary approaches which is used concurrently in the modern publication: ethnography, case study, and design-based research. Ethnography, according to Denjin in 1997, is a form of inquiry and writing that produces descriptions and accounts about the ways of life of the writer and those written about. Researchers should observe a setting to gather data and also get involved in the setting, interacting with different players in pursuit of the research agenda, usually conducted using participant observation techniques. Discourse analysis is beneficial. So what are the criticism? Lack of in-depth ethnography, often conducted for a short period of time due to lack of resources. Ethical concern due to researchers' direct participation in the study and possibility of taking away valuable teaching time out of the students. Case study can be considered as a special form of ethnography. Case study is also conducted in a naturalistic setting with extensive use of narrative data for observation, interview, transcripts, and notes to create rich narrations of perceptions, attitudes, reaction, relations, and environments. Case studies focuses on one particular instances of educational experience and attempt to gain theoretical and professional insights from a full documentation of that instance. There are three types of case study: exploratory, explanatory, and descriptive. Under the explanatory case study, we seek to define how and or why an experience took place with the purpose to suggest clues to possible cause and effect relationship. Under the exploratory case study, we try to explore situation in which the intervention being evaluated has no clear single set of outcomes. Under the descriptive case study, we try to come out with the interpretation and descriptions of a series of questions. So what are the limitations of case study? Lack of reliability and validity, inability to generalize, uncontrolled bias and subjectivities. Case study is susceptible to producing too much detailed data. Case study is not the most cost efficient way. The complexity also make it very difficult to present in many different ways instead of presenting in a singular way. Design-based research is a systematic but flexible methodology aimed to improve educational practices through iterative analysis, design development, and implementation based on collaboration among researchers and practitioners in real-world setting, and leading to contextually sensitive design principles and theories. Although DBR sometimes uses numeric data and quantitative methods in its analysis, it is considered as primarily qualitative research. So why DBR is qualitative? DBR by nature is a naturalistic inquiry conducted in a natural setting and use theories to explain phenomenon in a local context. DBR is more interested in documenting the design process using narrative data rather than identifying the causal relationship among quantified constructs. The research findings of DBR are not to be generalized because changes and adjustments are constantly made to the design process in reflection to the complexity of its unique context. So what are the limits of DBR? There is no agreed set of criteria or standards to evaluate if a research study qualifies as DBR. Susceptible to excessive data collections and being over methodological. Based on a study, only 5% or so of the data collected are needed to induce the finding. So in conclusion, educational technology researchers have embraced the qualitative research methods in their investigation and exploration of different aspects of educational technology. AICTE has two specific recommendations for qualitative researchers in the field of technology and education. First, address the practical value of the proposed research problem, and finally, more ontological and epistemological assumptions behind the selected methodology. This is the link for the article if anyone wants to pull it and read it. Hope you enjoyed it and have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye.